And there we go. Okay, so we kind of has at least a little bit up on the top of the ship. That is all done. And now back here to the bottom of the ship is where I'm going to turn my focus next. That's what we're going to look at, I think, next on the back here. So really this I can put, yeah, I can put that, and I can put a 5. I can put a corner block onto this guy. And that looks like it's more or less okay. Let's go to the other side and just kind of mirror that real quick. Oh my. Oh, okay. I understand what's going on here. So, let's actually, I tell you what, let's actually go ahead and I can access those things to the top. So we're going to go ahead and kind of cover this one up. Like that. And now here we have some area where we can go ahead and just add some structural integrity, which we will do. I don't need you, but we do need these things. Okay, so the down thrusters are over there.
Energy low.
Okay, thank you, voice in the game that tells me my energy is low. We go over here, we get energied up. And then I think we're going to finish our ship here. We're almost done. We're very close to being done. And then we can go off and take off. I promised you I would show you a little bit about the making of the block groups in this game. We're going to do that very much here at the end. Maybe I should have done that near the beginning because block groups are important. It's something that you do want to be able to do. But it was, I kind of got hung up on building my ship here. So you have to forgive me for that, I think. Okay, so let's go back here to these darker blocks. I think that if I put the darker block right here like that, then this should be okay. And now below these guys, if I have the 4 blocks and turn them over, that's the way, I think that's the way I want to go. No, that is not the way I want to go. That's the opposite of the way I want to go. Let's go, and I need to flip, yeah, like that, okay. Now in this one down here, yeah, we'll do the same thing. We'll take that corner block. We will do the same thing and just rotate him around. Yeah, like that. Yeah. There we go. Let's see how I can mirror to the other sides back here. I thought that this thing was in the middle, and actually, yes, he is in the middle still, but this is what is throwing me off down here. Okay, so let's actually come in here then, and yeah, so let's actually do this, because I think that this is what we had going on. Now those will mirror each other. Yeah, they will. Okay, good. So now those do in fact mirror, and now I can come over here with the 4s. With these 4 blocks, rotate them around. Is that the right way? Yeah, this is the right way. And now here I can have the corner. Yeah, good. Okay, yay. So that part right there on the back is at least basically essentially done. This right here is a little bit lower than it is on the other side. I tell you what we do. Yeah, I tell you what we do here is we go get that color since it's already in that. We take our 4s. Yeah, we take our 4 blocks. So this can be 3s in there. Now we go get our 4 blocks back. Just like that. We get the 5. Oh, the 4. I need one more of the 4. Oh, I don't have any steel plates. I need the steel plates. Come to me, steel plates. Okay. Do I have... Oh. Looking in the wrong spot. Yeah, so let's pull over a couple hundred of the steel plates. Back to our ship. Now back to our ship. Okay. You finish, you finish. You finish, you finish. This one right here I can actually, I think, use... Oh no. Oh no.
Inventory full.
Inventory is full. That is okay. We spin this guy around real quick. Yeah, that's what I want. Now, where did my plate go? Oh, there you are. See how he just kind of floats away now? Okay, so there we go with the plate. We want him, and now I want a 5. I want a corner block. Right there. And I think basically that might be it now. Look, we need to put a cover. Let's put a cover to these things right here. So let's put a 3 and now a 5. There, like that. Whoops. There we go. And now we do the same thing maybe down here on the bottom. We just put a 5 in this corner. Right like that. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting close. Very close now. Get very close. Okay. So those have the covers, just like the other side. And now, really, the only thing I has left is, I think, to do these. So let's go ahead and let's build in the structure, the integrity, the structure integrity right there. And now I know that I need some 4s and a 5. Do I just go straight? No, I don't. I connect with the other stuff with a 6. And on this case, that's going to be this guy right here, because I don't have that layer on this side. Oh, I had to wait for a moment to get my computer. Today, I don't know what is wrong with you today. What is wrong? You're just taking your time. Oh, it's because I'm in the... Must be smarter than the computer in order to make video. It's because I entered into the chat. It's my own fault. Blaming the computer for something I did. That's classic. Classic Romedy. Yeah, let's get the corner block right here. There we go. Awesome. Welding, welding, welding. I think on this side I'm just going to leave that open like that. I don't think I'm actually going to collect anything. The top, I want to have the top open so that I can go in that side. Okay, so it's not completely symmetric, so we've got a little bit of changes on both sides. I like that. Okay, so we're done. We are done with the ship. We are done with the ship. So let's get in here now. Let's go into the drills and let's actually get into the ship. If I hit V, this is going to give me this view on the back of the ship here. So now I hit spacebar. The controls for moving the ship is exactly the same as the controls for the person. So I can roll with Q. I can go the other way with E. You know, forward, backward, left, right. All of that is going to be based on... Uh-oh, I already have an overload. Just by... Oh, okay. So I didn't put quite enough of the reactors into this guy. Actually, maybe only because I have one of the reactors operating. Fairly certain that's actually the reason. That's okay. We fix that in a minute. So in my G menu, you see that I have this thing. I can group all of my blocks together however I want to do that. It's pretty neat. In my K menu, I can select the individual blocks that I have on this ship. So if let's say that I want to have the 4 things here. So I can either select them by holding the control and clicking, or alternatively, I can just hold shift and click to include the whole group there. Over here on the right, I can have block group name. So if I name this group drills, it's going to add a new category here, and it's going to keep those 4 things together. So now let's say for lights, I do the same thing with my lights, and I go ahead and name this lights. There we go. Done. Done and done. So let's say that I'm going to delete something. So over here, if I highlight my drills, it's going to show you the blocks that are included. I can hit this X to delete that group if I want. So let's say that I made this group right here, and then I notice later on that I forgot one of the things. Well, this is easy to take care of. I can now add this guy in by just holding control and now clicking him to add. And now, because I've added him, I go back over here and save, and now I have added the new thing into what's going on here. So this is kind of nice. This is kind of nice. Okay, so I'm immediately going to be on the overload. Tell you what we do. We go down over here. Tell you what we do. We go, hopefully not slam into the ground. That's not what I want to do. I need to angle myself. There we go. A little bit better. Let's come right to the here, and we'll go close. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I am going to get out of this guy. I did not finish with my group presentation. I'm sorry. So in the K menu is where you make those groups. In the K menu is where you make those groups. Let's say that for some reason, I want to include all of these thrusters into a group. So I have quite a few thrusters. It looks like 20 of them. Over here, I'm just going to call this engines. We're going to save. And now I did not, in my engine group, include the large thruster on the back, so I'm going to control-click him and now save again. So all of that is done in the K menu. If I go open my G menu now, I have a new category over here called groups. and the groups are going to show up just as I had. And this is the way that I can control multiple blocks at the same time. So if I take my drills and move them down here onto the toolbar, it gives me options. So now I can toggle my drills on and off like that. For my lights, I can bring them down here and do the same thing. Now I can toggle them up. The lights have lots of different options that you can play around, but I'm just going to toggle them on and off. Here's my engines. So I go move down here. I can toggle those blocks on and off. And now the last thing that I really want to put on here is the connector. And I'm just going to switch lock on the connector. I can't do anything with it immediately. But what that essentially says is with this connector right here, if I put it up to another connector and I hit 7, those two things will then toggle the lock that is there. So, okay, so let's get out of the ship for right now. I need to actually access into one of my cargo containers. So we do that like this. What I want to do is I want to split the uranium up, so I'm going to take 2 of the uranium out. I'm going to leave 1 of the uranium in that reactor. I'm going to move 1 of the uranium into this reactor right here, and now I'm going to move 1 of the uranium into that reactor. So now what I have done is instead of just running the ship on 1 reactor, I'm now going to run the ship on 3 reactors, which I think is maybe a little bit better. So, and see, my reactor output is now increased to the 300 kilowatt. And now we'll see if I can move my ship around without, okay, so only the forward is really doing the override, or the too much. Okay, so here if I go to the front of the ship, I'm going to roll him so he's a little bit more level for you. I can hit the number 2 and I can now turn the lights on and off on the front of the ship. I can now turn my drills on and off on the front of the ship. And then if I connect to something, let's say I have actually connected and I don't want to just sit here with everything on this guy, I can go ahead and hit 5 to turn my engines off. And now I just kind of float around here in space like that. But we didn't build the ship just to sit here and look at pretty things, right? We built the ship so that we can go over here and actually do some of the mining. So let's go to this gold, because this gold is nice and plentiful right here. We're going to kind of maneuver around a little bit. And now on the gold, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself lined up here. And now I'm going to spin to the side of the ship a little bit so that I can go ahead and get close to him. So now I turn the lights on. You see the difference that the lights make. And now, because I'm in the sunny side, I don't necessarily need that. So we're going to aim more over here at the gold. And now we're going to go to town with the mining is what we're going to do. Yeah! Yeah! So look at how we're already doing better on the mining than we were doing just a moment ago when we were trying to mine everything by hand. Already doing much better down here. Now, gold, you know, is maybe not the biggest thing. It was just nice and shiny over here so that we could come and get a lot of it. So I tell you what we do. We now turn the drills off. We back out of there. Real quickly here, I'm going to show you what in my inventory. So we go over here into the reactors. They stayed the same, but now you see in the medium cargo containers that we're now moving the gold into there. We already have about 5,000 of the gold that we just got. So in just that little moment of mining, we have already like quintupled what I had got. So now we're going to come up here just a little bit. What I am thinking about doing is going after whatever's in here. Let's go see. So a couple things that we could have added to the ship that we do not have is we could have added a beacon and we could have added an ore detector. And the ore detector is just going to allow me to see at a greater range what all of these different ores are actually going to be. If I didn't know better, this almost looks like uranium. I don't know if it actually is uranium, but man, it sure almost looks like it, doesn't it? That's okay. We mine out some of this stone right here so that I can actually get into this a little bit better. Maybe this is just stone. Maybe this is not anything special, but that's okay. We see now that I'm getting in here a little bit, I need to have the lights. So I turn the lights on. You see that now I have a better idea of what I'm doing. Better look. Okay, so now we turn that off. I'm not sure if that was actually anything useful or if it was just a bunch of stone. Let's find out. Okay, so it was just a bunch of stone. That was not all that useful at all. So up here, if we go after this. Now the inertial dampener and everything, it works exactly the same way on the ships as it does with the person, except if you slam into the asteroid in your ship, it's going to, you know, hurt the ship. So not so good. We're going to fly up this direction, and we're going to see if we can't find that location that we had for the uranium that we saw a little bit ago, and see if we can't mine out some more of the uranium real quick. Now I do see, I think over here, I do see the irons. So we might go looking at this iron right here. Let's see if, yeah, that looks like a lot of. So we're just gonna dip our beak here into the iron on this and get him. Because ultimately we are going to need so much of the irons. So we will just go to town and get some of this here real fast. Much better. Much better. Okay, so let's see how we did on the iron there real quick. Oh, that was nickel. We got 15k nickel. That's okay. We need the nickel too. Let's see now. Let's see if we can find out where... It was like a little protrusion. I think it was over here. We go this way. It was a little protrusion. Now this is all iron. And so this is not going to hurt us to take some of this iron right here. And actually right there is the uraniums. I can see it. So I'm just going to kind of dip into this iron right here since it's on a corner. I'm going to take much of the iron. There we go. Nom 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 nom. The iron, iron, iron. So as you can see, much quicker, even though it's only a small ship, this is going much quicker than it was going by hand. And that's why I think it's very important that we kind of make a race. You know, we kind of want to have a race to getting into a small ship as quickly as we can get, so that the mining of these materials and then the building of the other things is not going to be horrific and taking us forever to do so. So here we go. We're finally getting into kind of a lot of the uranium right here. I would say that even at this stage of the game, after we have gotten ourselves into a ship, getting to the uranium is still the #1 thing that I would go after. We can start talking about how I can build solar panels onto the base, the station here in the next episode if we want to do that. But the immediate need, even to produce those solar panels, they're going to take time and energy. The immediate need, even to run the small ships, is going to be with the uranium. So knowing where I had this uranium deposit was very good. We're going to get as much of this, I think, as we can here real fast. And then after we have this uranium, we will head back home and put it into the refinery so that we can start crunching and getting these things done. Nom. All of this uraniums. So now, of course, the next step, kind of on the horizon, the next thing that we want to think about doing is we want to make a large ship that is a little more self-sufficient than just this small little mining ship that we're going to use to go and kind of get things started for us, you know. So we want to be thinking about getting a large ship, and on that large ship what we want is a refinery, so that as we're gathering the ores, it is also on that ship going ahead and refining the ores for us. Now I cannot put a refiner on a small ship. It has to be on a large ship that I do that. And to build a large ship, it takes a lot more. We're just going to see how we do on the inventory here. So on the uranium, so we've got about 10k uranium in there. We has just that little munch right there got us about 60,000 iron. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of the stone, which is kind of okay. I'm going to start combining some of these things together, as you see. So there we go. So in the drills, you'll notice all the drills are down here. The drills have their own inventories, which is fine. But because of that conveyor system that I had put into the ship, the ores from the drill automatically all get funneled here into the cargo. So I was a little unhappy with only having 10,000 of the uranium, so I'm going to go back in and we're going to get a little bit more of the uranium. I mean, 10,000 uranium is ultimately going to last us for quite a while, but we can do better, and especially since we're right here and we know that there is this nice deposit of the uranium, we're just going to go ahead and get as much of it. Looks like we may actually be out of the deposit now. I'm fairly certain that we actually are out of the deposit. Now I'm just getting the iron, which is okay, as you can see with the lights. So that's why I wanted the spotlights on the ship, because it's easier to see that way. So okay, well, I tell you what, we got some of the nickel, we got some of the iron. The platinum was kind of buried in a hole. And the hole was back over here, so we're just going to go take a look at that real quick, because platinum is kind of important. but I think we may be just about done. This mining trip, is this the hole? No, that's not the hole. Where is it at? I know I made it. Here again, you see why the lights is important for us. Well, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time looking. That's kind of boring. So let's go back. Let's find our base. There it is. And now we will again do the inertial dampener thing, and we will just kind of coast over here to where we're going. So I think I'm going to end the episode right here. Hopefully this has been at least a pretty good introduction into the basics. After this, it's going to get a little more advanced because we're going to start talking about conveyor systems and logicships and running the things together. So, you know, I think I might save that for a little later on. But I think we will end this episode for right here now that we has at least a little start to our game. So thank you for joining me very much. I appreciate it, and hopefully I see you again next time.